what do you think the result will be? More people will do it. So Google's pretty smart. So they say, let's make it easy to create forms, because the easier the form is, the more information our people can collect.
Okay.
Most businesses don't use Google Apps. Therefore, what don't they use? The thing we're working on today.
Google Forms.
Forms. Yeah, they don't use forms because they don't use Google Apps. And if they don't use Google Forms, what are they not able to do?
Gather information.
Well, no, they can gather information, but if they don't use Google Forms, they can't create forms. Okay? And if you can't create forms, how do you gather information? You could do it the way Thomas's motorcycle place did it, where you write it down on a piece of paper, then you have to go in when you have time, right, and enter it, and then you have problems of reading your writing, or somebody else filled it in, right, because you're in a hurry. Oops, I forgot to get this information, the zip code, I forgot about that, that might not be right. And so if we push that onto the person who we want the information from, will it be more accurate? Will it save time? Yeah, it'll be a lot better. They'll feel part of the organization if you design your form to not be like Big Brother. You don't ask too personal of questions. You just ask questions that make them feel like you care. So if it was a restaurant, well, let's say, Robert, for detailing cars, what kind of question would you ask people that made them feel, oh, this guy cares about me? What kind of question might you ask? Okay. Okay, what else? Has the car ever been waxed or buffed out? To find out, so somebody said, oh, so they read the question in their brain, they say, oh, wow, this guy really wants to know, this guy cares what I think. What might a question be? Okay, so those kind of questions people like to answer, right? If you ask a question of, have you ever had sex in your car? Is anybody going to want to fill that out? Some people, but most people would think, wait a second, he doesn't need to know that, right? Okay, so some questions on forms make people feel like you care, and those are the kinds of questions you want to ask. You don't want to just ask the boring, necessary questions. What's your name? What's your contact information? You want to get people when they fill out the form to say, I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I did it. So like when it comes to oil changes, people who care about their car, if they see a question of synthetic oil or not, okay, well these people care. They want to know they want to know whether I care. And if they care whether I care, then I care about them. I'm more inclined to do it. But if they ask goofy questions or personal questions that are not relevant, then I don't want to have anything to do with them. So there is an art to doing forms. Just like most other stuff, most of these Google apps, there's an art to it. And what you want to do is you want to get information from people so that when they're done with the form, they are happy they filled out the form because they feel closer to you. They feel more of a connection with you. A question for people that like cars. Question would be, would it be okay if we put a picture of your car on the internet as a promotion? People who like cars, what would you say they think about that, Robert? Asking them a question, would it be okay if we put a picture of your car on the internet for promotion? Yeah, some people would say, cool, I'm getting recognized for my car. And I bought this car because I want to be recognized, right? So the key purpose of a form is to collect information. The better the form is designed, the more information you're going to get. the better the form looks, just cosmetically looks. If the colors are good, if the images, the pictures on it are nice, the more likely people are going to be to do it. If it looks like it's amateur hour, guess what? Serious people aren't going to want to do it. Goofy people will, but then you'll get a lot of answers like, my name is Donald Duck, I live at Disneyland, and just kooky stuff, which you have to go through now the database and you have to purge all that stuff out. So the most important thing about the form, as you saw on the video, it is a very powerful tool. And it's a thing that you should use as often as you can. We use them here for telemarketing, right? Because any calls you make, that we can put the script on there, you fill out the information as you go, and then we have good information on who's out there. And that has value. Okay, so now let's get into the nitty-gritty. And everybody go to your Google Drive and create a new form. And I'll do that here. So we go to Drive, and if we want to create a form, what do? Click on New, New, More, and Google Forms. Right, thank you. Okay, so this is the form that pops up, right? Does everybody have that? Except mine is a little bit different because I have a paid account. So the first box on my form says, require Gladius Business Corp's login to view this form. So I have to uncheck that box. Huh? Oh, it should be on your screen. Okay. So I can probably make it a little bit larger. So Dennis, can you kind of see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So what's the first thing we do when we create a form or any Google document type thing?
On the title list.
Yeah. So we click on where it says Untitled Form, and then we put in whatever we're going to do. So put in your name and put in test form. And then you hit OK. Now when you do that, what happens on your sheet? Right, so it puts it right here. Okay, so it puts that at the top of your form. Now if I go in here and I click on that and I change the name, is that going to change the file? Right, it's not going to change the file name. And then now it's pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. Okay, just start asking questions. So the first question you have to ask yourself is, who's filling out the form? Okay, and what are some of the choices? Well, when I say who, not what class of people. Specific. Huh? Okay, so the thing would be, is the person you want the information from filling out the form? Or is it somebody else filling out the form? So when we're doing telemarketing, who's filling out the form? Right. Who's not filling out the form? They are. Okay. What if we emailed them the form? Who's filling out the form? They are. Right. So so an important thing on the form is who's going to fill it out. If it's somebody on our side, meaning the company you work for, your first question should be something like, who's the person filling out the form? Because when you get to your spreadsheet and you have all of these lines of stuff in there, it's very frustrating if you don't know who created that record. Okay, because if it's not right, or if it's really good, or you want to compensate people, or you want to do this, or you want to do that, it's very important to, so the first question should be, and you should write this in your book, who's filling out the form? It's the first thing you need to ask yourself. Now, another important thing about forms is the purpose, the fundamental purpose is to get information, right? We all agree on that. Well, what do you want to do with that information? Why? So the question is why? Why do you want to get information?
To know if they're coming.
Well, you want to get information because you're going to use it for some purpose. And one of the purposes could be what you said. One of the things that these spreadsheets enable you to do is to sort. So every question that you ask, 1, 2, 3, 4, every question that you asked on the form is converted on your sheet to a column. Okay? All of these are converted to a spreadsheet and they're moved up here to the top. And then you can sort the data by column. So let's say this one says name, address, state, phone, product. Okay, so over here it would be name, address, state, phone, product. Okay, so does anybody see how this could be very powerful if you can sort stuff? Okay, so what would happen if we sort by name? Yeah, alphabetical or reverse alphabetical. But here's what you need to be careful about. So this is the thing to make sure to write in your book. When you do name, you break it into 2 questions. What's the first question?
First name, last.
Right. First name, last name. Okay, because if you just have one column that says name, how many different ways could people put things? Yeah, they could put in their last name, comma, first name, comma, last name, first initial, period, last name, their nickname. And it's not good to sort if some people put it in different ways than other people. Some guy puts it in last name, first name, and the next guy, let's say Angelo Casaro, puts his name in Angelo Casaro, and his brother puts it in as Joe Casaro. Are they going to show up next to each other? How are they going to show up? It would be A, and then all of the A's, B, C, Z, Z, all the way down to J. He could be a long ways apart. At the Italian American Club, we have 650 members, and there's a lot of letters between A and J. So you need to make sure when you're doing these things and you're figuring out what the fields are, you're going to want to sort. So the first question should be first name. Then the next question is last name. And the same thing happens when you have address. So if you have one box for the address, how easy is it to find people that live in different states? If the address is in one line. If the address is 727 East Fremont, Las Vegas, Okay, how is that going to sort if I have it on one address?
So sort it by the number.
Yeah, it's going to sort by the address, and how the street address. How valuable is that in sorting? It's as useful as a wisdom tooth in a chicken, as Nolan Bushnell would say. Okay, it's complete garbage. So you separate it by street, city, state, zip. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you're doing mailing like we do here when we mail the magazines out to people, if you had the +4 zip, 891020581. If you had it so it had the zip code +4, that's okay too. Most people don't know what theirs is, and it just kind of gets goofy. But so you want to make sure you break it down, because now if I break this down, what can I sort by? I can sort by zip code. What else?
State.
I can sort by state,
City.
by city, and by this number, which doesn't really have any meaning. There's probably an add-on in forms. There could be an add-on, or one day there will be an add-on that says ignore the first numbers on an address. Look for the street. This will happen one day, so that you don't have to try to break this down into two things. Okay, so now on our spreadsheet, we've got first name, last name, street, city, state, zip, and you can do that. Now the phone number would look something like okay, do we need to break that into separate fields?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna ask. Would it be best to break the area code up from the phone number in case you're reading their spreadsheet with people on certain area?
Okay, well, if you have it this way, it will automatically go by area code. And then it will sort by this number. So if you put it in, it will sort by area code and then prefix and then this part. They'll all be in that order. Now the challenge you have in Google Forms is they don't have a question type that's phone number. So some people will put in a phone number like what? 702, 702-283, 702 space 283, 702/283, 702.283. They'll do all kinds of stuff. Okay, and that's going to screw up your sorting. So how do you solve that problem? Okay, so in the help text button, you describe, so help text, not button, in the help text box, you put in how you want it. So if the first question, I'm just going to say phone number, well, I'll do, so let's go back and we'll put these in. First name. And what I suggest you do is you do capital letter for the first thing. Most important thing about forms is they have to be consistent. They have to look right. You can't have punctuation errors. So I say, if it's first name, you say first name. Okay? So like it's the beginning of a sentence. Not first capital N, just first name, not lowercase. First name.
Where's that at? Where do we put that?
Under question title.
Okay.
And that is a, what type of thing is it? Text. Okay? And that should be a not required question. Done. Okay, then we add item. Now let's type in last name. Again, that's a text. And this one should be a required question. So required questions mean what? They have to answer. What if they don't answer it? What happens? Correct. It won't let you go to the next page or submit. So you only want, it's frustrating to people if you have required things, so only make the questions required that need to be required. Don't make every question a required question. Okay, first name, last name. Address.
Anybody need help?
And then we're going to do city. State. When you do state, how should state be done? How do you do state, Tom? ST, capital S, capital T. So the proper abbreviation for state is capital S, capital T. Okay, so now we're going to add another one, zip code. I would just say zip. Oops. Okay, so now our form looks like on the screen here. First name, last name, address, city, state, and it goes down to zip. Okay, now let's put in phone number. What phone number do we want?
You said for state it's capital ST.
Capital S, capital T. Now when we get to phone number, this is where we want to use the help text box.
We just give them like an example.
Yeah, so you do so you decide how you want to do it. Okay. So now you have the phone number, and it looks like, so you have a thing that says phone number, and then below sample 999.888.7777. You can do it any way you want. You can put parentheses, just put in the number, have a dash, you can do however you feel comfortable doing it. You can do it, it's your form. But you should have a sample because you want to make sure that everybody's doing it the same way, because in case you want to sort, then it's all, if it's sortable. Okay, and then the next one, let's put down, so let's not say phone number, so let's say we want to change that one. How do we go about changing that? Right, exactly. Click on the pencil, and in front of it write cell, and then make the P not capital. Why do we want their cell phone number?
Because that's the number most people use.
Okay, so why do we want that number?
Can we give them, would it be okay to put, like I've seen some forms, they have like phone and then they have another one for just cell phone, would it be okay on our forms?
Okay, but why do we want a cell phone number? Yes, we can, but my question is a little bit different. Why is it we care about the cell phone number?
Because it's easier to contact people by phone.
Well, that's one thing. Huh? Oh, stretching, power pose.
Direct contact.
Okay, no. Yes, but no. Okay, but why do we care about cell phone? Why don't we just say house phone? Okay? That's not the reason I'm looking for. That's a true reason. That's not the best answer.
It's the best way to get hold of them all the time.
That's a good answer, but it's not the best answer. Okay? Okay, the reason we want the cell phone number is because you can send what to a cell phone? Text message, right. Okay, we can send a text message, and that is just another easy way to reach people. And that's going to become more and more popular. So like if you are a, I don't know, let's say a car detailing company, you might want to send a text message to all of your customers saying, I have an opening 2 hours from now, half price. Okay, so instead of doing nothing for half an hour watching Oprah, you're getting half the money, but it's better than nothing, right? So, or let's say you're a restaurant. Ah, Phyllis is here. Good morning, Phyllis. Hold on. So let's say you're a restaurant. What might you do at a restaurant sending a text out?
Happy hour special.
Okay. Yeah, we have a special dinner tonight. First 50 people, you know, we have cioppino soup, homemade cioppino for the first 50 people. Let it make reservations now. Or free dessert, the next 50 people, type of thing. So that will become more and more important as time goes on.
I know I used to get a lot of stuff. Old spoon.
Okay.
All the time for ice cream.
Yeah. Okay. And now that could cause a different problem, like what, you get sick and tired of getting these things, right? Okay. But that's because they're overdoing it. You want people to say, oh, I just got a text, I'm going to read it because this could be something good. Not like Kohl's sends, you know, stuff every day, and you just don't even look at it because you know there's going to be another one tomorrow. Okay, yes?
How do we, or what do we put in the help box on that cell? Whatever you said, so we can get the same format?
You put in sample, you type the word sample, and then you put a colon, and then you put a sample, how it should be. So what I did
Sample capitalized?
is yeah. So that's what I did. Okay. You could have the phone number any way you want. Okay, so now we have a form and we just keep asking questions. Now let's say this is our standard form and we're a doctor's office or something. And when somebody walks in, or when somebody's going to come in, we hand them a tablet. You know, right now you go to the doctor's office, you have to go sign in. Okay, so let's pretend at our doctor's office, they give us a tablet. Okay? Why would we rather, if we're the doctor, why would we rather have people fill out a tablet than a piece of paper? Easier for what?
Oh, actually, no.
Yeah, it goes right into the database, right? Yeah, instead of handing them a clipboard, you hand them a tablet. Okay, so we want to push that off onto them, right? Okay, so we give them a tablet. Now, now let's say you're the guy who gets the tablet, and it's not your first time at the doctor's office. What do you not want to do? Fill out the same information that you did before, right? Because it's boring, it's tiresome, it means to me they don't know what the hell they're doing. So how do we change our form to take advantage of that? Okay, so first we know we have to add an item, right? So we click on Add Item. Okay, and so what would the question be? Huh? Well, what's the first box? Question title. Okay, have you been here before? I'm going to abbreviate that to new patient. Okay, we're talking about a doctor's office. Let's just say new patient, question mark. And then we could say in the next box, the help text, have you been here in the past 12 months? Okay, now why did I say to do it that way? Okay, here's the reason why. You're not going to know.
I know,
Why?
because usually people's databases crash within 12 months or.
Not the 12-month part. Why do we break it into 2 lines? Okay, the reason we broke it into 2 lines is whatever the question title is goes here. On your spreadsheet, it goes at the top of the column. So if you have a really long question, this is going to be really long. And what's going to happen is it's going to get really tall, which means when you're looking at the screen, this is going to get very small. So the question, you want to have the fewest number of words in the question, and then the help text tells people what it means. So in other words, on your spreadsheet, this would now say the column heading would be new patient question mark. Okay? And so next we go to question type, and this is going to be what? Multiple choice. And you're going to click the box next to it that says go to page based on answer. Okay? So on option 1, you type the word yes. You only have 1 page right now. Option 2, you push the word no. And then you hit done.
Where's option 2 there?
Well, right after you type in yes, hit tab.
Oh,
Okay, now what do I need to do? Because something's not right here on this form, right? That's supposed to be the first question, right?
You click on it and drag it up.
Yes, so when I move my pointer down, I put it over on that, and then I can just drag it right to the top. You can see it up there. See how I'm dragging it around? I'm holding down my left mouse button. And I move it right to, yeah.
My problem with this one, we did it before, is, like you said, we only have 1 page right now.
Yeah,
So what, I have to go wait till I got another page to fill that
Yeah.
out and send it to that page?
yeah. Because the way most people do a spreadsheet is the way, a form is the way we do it. You think of the question, and then you have to build the form. Most people don't say, okay, I'm going to start out, I'm going to have 5 pages. I don't know what they're going to be called, but I'm going to create 5 pages. It gets a little bit too hard to keep track if you're doing it in your mind that way. It's the better way to do it, but it's a little bit too hard. Okay, so now I have my question, right? So my first question is now new patient. You guys have it over there? Dwayne, Robert, Julia? So you take the question, you just take your mouse, you put it over the question so it's going to turn a light shade of gray, and you push down the left mouse button. And then you can drag that question up to the top. Takes a little bit of practice. Okay, but what I need to do now is I need to go back down to add item. I click the down arrow to the right of add item, and then I look for a thing that says page break. Okay, so everybody here. So first I click on that little down triangle next to add item. That opens this box, and then right here is the thing that says page break. So I click on what? Page break. Okay, now it comes up and it says page title. And I'm just going to put in new patient. And then in parentheses, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to hit done. Then I'm going to add another item. I'm going to go to page break again. I'm going to say new patient. No.
is that yes in the description or in the page title?
in the title of the page. Okay, so now I have three pages. Okay, so who knows what I do next? What do I do next? Move what? Okay, I could move the questions, but I'm going to move the page, that page break, page number 2, I'm going to drag that up to right below my new patient question. Okay, so I just do the same thing. I hover over that page, and then I drag it up. And this is kind of an art.
It's supposed to be under the patient, yes or no?
Yes.
Both of the,
No, not both. Just one of them. So now if you look at the screen, director test form, new patient, yes, no. Right, that's the first question. What happens after that? Now I have page 2. It says new page, new patient, yes. And if I scroll down so you can see what's on that page, guess what's on that page? All of those questions, right. So new patient, yes. First name, last name, address, city, state, zip. I ask all the questions. I ask 52 questions, all of the things. Do you have nightmares? Whatever they ask you. Now what do I need to do to make this form right? I go back to the first question, new patient, and do what, Mike? Click on the pencil.
Click on pencil, go to page, go to page based on answer.
Yeah, go to page based on answer. And so you see what happened up here. So I went to that, I clicked on the pencil, it opened it up. Now I have yes, it says go to page 2, new patient, yes. And then on no, it's going to say go to page 3, new patient, no.
Mine says next page.
Okay, that's because you haven't clicked on something. You need to click next to where it says continue to next page to change it. It doesn't know what you want to do till you tell it what to do. So next to the word new patient is a pencil, right? You click that. And then you click done. And now your form looks the same. Form looks the same. But in the last minute we're here, we're going to switch the view. Oh, let's do one more thing. In the new patient question, let's click on the pencil and let's make it a required question. Have to answer that question. Okay, now up at the top, above the form, there's some buttons. One of them says View Live Form. Click on that. Click on View Live Form. So your form should look like this. You have your name, test form, and there should just be one question on it, and it says continue. Who has that? Okay, good. You three guys. How about you, Julia? Go up above your form, and I'll show you where it says that.
It's all the way, it's up.
So it's above your form. So Robert, me, whoever can't see it, right here.
Up, right there.
Yeah, so you have it.
Down. Right.
So you have it. So Dwayne, look at me for a second. So he's trying to tell you to go right here.
Go right here. Do live form, okay?
Yeah, just click on View Live Form. Okay, Tom, you have it. Julia, where did the wheels fall off the wagon? You need it. So you guys are good. You're good, Tom. Robert, Wayne. How about you guys over here? Tom, Thomas? Yeah. Okay, how about helping
Mine
Tamika?
came up, but I'm still, I'm on the page before we clicked. Do
Okay,
live form.
so we're almost done for today. If we get to this stage where you can see your view live form, you're looking at your live form, fill out the answer and click continue. So everybody push yes and then click continue.
And answer all the questions.
No, don't answer them. But what happened? Okay, now let's go down to the bottom. And there's a back button. Click on the back button. And now click no and continue. Where did it go when you click no? Yeah, it went to page 3 and there's no questions on there yet. So is that kind of cool?
Yeah, but
If you're a guy filling out a form, pretend you're a person filling out a form, and you go to the doctor's office, you haven't been there, you click that, you go and answer all these questions, you go back to next time, you click no, I'm not a new patient, and but here's what I would say, this is still not right. This is still not right. What I need to do is I need to drag first name and last name up to page 1. Okay, so whoever, try to do this in the last minute. So now page 1 looks like this. New patient, yes, no, first name, last name. Why did I move it up there?
So that,
What if I didn't move it up there? Exactly. Yeah, and so now my database would be kind of screwed up because I'd have 2 columns that had first name, last name. Yeah.
do we want them required question on first page first?
Yeah, so the last name at least should be required on both on that. So your page 1 now has 3 questions on it, right? But those aren't in the right order, are they? No. I think new patient should be the last question, the third question. So let's drag new patient down. So now our form looks like this. Would this be more logical? First name, last name, are you new patient?
Yeah.
Okay. And the same thing happens. If I click yes, it goes to the new patient page. If I click no, what does it do? It goes to page 3. But I already know the guy's name. Okay, so we'll pick up here tomorrow. We'll pick this up tomorrow. Dennis, any questions in California?
We're good.
Okay, everybody's good there?
Everybody's good.
Okay, great. So remember, this is a very powerful tool. This is one thing that you should have as part of your employment planning package. When you go into your interview, you should have a form created based upon your research of that employer. So you can walk in and show value before you even get there. Step number 1 on Hero School, add value first. I'm going to show you that I'm worth hiring because I've done my research and here's a suggestion I have. You don't always have to show it to them, but if you have it ready, you're prepared. Okay, so we'll pick up this tomorrow. Thank you in California. Thank you, Dennis.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye now.